The weaver ant isn't the only hunter in the canopy. Spread between the trees, a giant sprawling web holds the remains of insects large and small. It's been created by tent spiders. They're common in tropical Asia and Australia. Each spider, the width of a man's hand, has created a dense web around 1/2 metre across. Like the weaver ants, they too benefit from their joint labours. Unusually for arachnids, tent spiders live in colonies. They set up their webs close to each other. So even though a single web is relatively small, together the webs can cover entire sections of canopy. And the neighbourly spiders maximise their catch. Hatching insects usually fly straight upwards as they emerge. Anything passing close enough can get caught up in the communal web, even small birds. Vibrations run through the web, triggering the closest spider to move in and inject its venom into the victim. Incapacitated, the prey becomes easier to wrap up in the spider's silk. In no time at all, it's totally helpless. Anything the spider can't eat now will keep nicely until later. Down on the forest floor, this cricket is about to enter the lair of one of Australia's most terrifying predators. The eastern tarantula. She's one of the biggest spiders in the country, up to 16 centimetres across. Her venom is powerful enough to kill a dog. This spider lives on the ground in the drier areas of the forest. She's excavated a burrow around 1 metre deep. Alone, she waits just inside the burrow entrance. The tarantula is an ambush predator. This spider relies more on touch than sight. As she patiently waits, the cricket passes near her burrow. Its movements are producing telltale vibrations. It's all over in seconds. With the tarantula around, the forest floor is never a safe place for potential prey like crickets. But the trees aren't safe either. The huntsman spider doesn't build a web to trap prey. It hunts its victims down. It's well camouflaged to blend into the tree and has amazing speed. The cricket is history. No animal is free from danger in the forest. From the biggest to the smallest. This St. Andrew's cross spider is spinning her web. She's only found in Australia and lives in the margins of the rainforest. With long legs but a small body, she waits for prey upside down on her web. Her legs are arranged in pairs, resembling a diagonal cross. She makes a catch. Before the fly has a chance to escape, she wraps it up into an immobilized, neat package. These food parcels can be left for later, but not today. She regurgitates her stomach fluids, full of enzymes, onto the prey. This, combined with the chewing action of her fangs and jaws, reduces the prey to a biological soup. She sucks it up through her tube-like mouthparts. A male cross spider, much smaller, approaches her for mating. She's not interested. A second male tries his luck. This one's got her attention, but not quite as he intended. This species of spider practices sexual cannibalism. Only the fittest males can court, mate, and then evade the female. This pursuer becomes dinner. But someone else has been eagerly following this drama. In the jungle, there's always another creature capable of turning a predator into prey. The Portia spider. It's smaller than the St. Andrew's cross, but size isn't everything. The Portia is an astonishing arachnid. It has very large anterior eyes. They're unique. No other spider is known to see as well as the Portia. And that's not all. Researchers are discovering that this species has a comparatively larger brain than any other spider. It can alter its predatory strategy, employing trial and error testing. It will purposefully take indirect routes to its prey. These behaviours suggest problem-solving intelligence. It's possible the Portia can plan. It begins to make its move. Sensing the proximity of a predator, the St. Andrew's cross tries to discourage an attack. It's called trampolining. She's trying to make herself a difficult target. But the Portia spider, as well as having extraordinary eyesight and high intelligence, has an extra weapon. A lightning-fast, super-accurate jump. Fangs inject powerful venom. Soon, the St. Andrew's cross will be completely immobile. Ready for dispatch. Australia's bugs and butterflies have adopted some extraordinary survival strategies. From ants that use larvae as glue guns, to spiders that disguise themselves as ants. The forests of Australia are packed with an astonishing variety of creepy crawlies. Aerial show-offs, masters of disguise, and extravagant dresses. There's nothing they won't do in the great battle for life. The freshwater wetlands and waterholes of Australia are full of life. Hosting majestic, extraordinary, and deadly creatures. They congregate at these waterways to eat, breed, and rear their young. It's one of the most diverse and prolific ecosystems in Australia. A vast island continent, home to some of the planet's most unusual and fascinating animals. These are the secrets of the Australian waterhole. The tropical far north of Australia. It's hotter and wilder than the milder southern regions. Up here, there are only two real seasons: the wet and the dry. It's October, the end of the dry season. There's been very little rain for 5 months. The hot sun evaporates moisture quickly. Birds crowd around one of the few remaining shallow pools of water. These shrinking reservoirs are a vital lifeline for animals looking for water and food. Day after day, the sun burns and the land cracks. Temperatures are high. Fire and drought are common and can be fatal to animals. Some species avoid the scorching dry season by flying away to more benign areas. Some bury themselves and go into a resting phase. In November or December, the sky turns dark, the clouds roil. The wet season arrives. Three or 4 months of hard showers, humidity, thunderstorms, and millions upon millions of litres of rain. Rivers burst their banks. They flood out onto the surrounding flat savanna, linking up to create vast expanses of shallow wetlands. The rain also tops up the existing waterholes and lagoons. Frogs are among the first to wake up. They've been hiding from the sun in crevices, hollow logs, or deep down in the mud, where they bury themselves in cocoons made from their own skins. The aptly named magnificent tree frog emerges. He begins calling for mates straight away. For wetland frogs in the far north, breeding is urgent. Water levels are high right now. But within the wet season, water levels still rise and fall. He wants to make sure his eggs don't dry out and die. So he swings into action immediately. Within hours of waking up, frogs mate and lay their eggs. As little as a week later, tiny but fully formed little frogs can emerge onto land. The shallow, temporary pools that form on the flat savanna are preferred for egg laying. The deeper waterholes will soon be swarming with predators. Not the safest place for tadpoles. As the rain continues, in the waterholes and lagoons, dormant eggs and larvae reactivate, creating food for insects, small fish, and crustaceans. At this lagoon, close to Kakadu National Park, the water is teeming with tiny life. The basis of a remarkable and complex food web. The plant life revives too. The rains trigger the water lilies to make their colourful return, opening their pristine pink petals and unfurling their large leaves. They survived through the dry season by letting their leaves die off, but keeping their roots alive. As they grow and bloom again, their large leaves give shelter for the insects and larvae that are developing in the water. The undersides of their leaves and stems are covered with algae, food for the new invertebrates. As all this small-scale life in the wetlands and waterholes increases, it attracts larger animals to predate on the burgeoning banquet growing in the waters. Birds. Thousands of them. From familiar ducks to some of the most extraordinary exotics. Birds are the kings of the wetlands and waterholes. If a waterhole is deep enough to persist, some birds may stay year-round. Others, like these magpie geese, migrate from other parts of Australia to these fresh feeding grounds, taking advantage of the new and watery world brought by the rain. The magpie geese are vegetarian. They're looking for the seeds of wild rice. But others, like this egret, are here for the new explosion of fish, insects, and crustaceans. Different types of beak or bill help each species to catch its favourite food. The glamorous, glossy ibis, with its iridescent plumage, is a crustacean lover. With its curved beak, it can probe the mud to find food. Weird and wonderful birds are everywhere at the waterhole. The spoonbill, is another unmistakable visitor. There are two kinds in northern Australia. The royal spoonbill has a black face and legs. The yellow spoonbill has a pale bill and legs and is slightly larger. There's no mystery to their name. The birds swathe their namesake bills from side to side in arcs of over 90 degrees as they move through the water, searching for small fish, crustaceans, and other invertebrates. Sensory organs on the spatulate bill pick up any movement, helping them feed in murky water. Once they detect prey, these strange beaks snap shut on the victim. The blossoming insect life provides food for many of the birds. The woolly wagtail tends to stay firmly on dry land by the water's edge, looking for crawling and hopping insects like ants, termites, and grasshoppers. Despite his name, he's actually part of the fantail family of birds, rather than the wagtails. A very familiar sight in Australia. He lives in almost every kind of habitat, apart from dense forest. He can't resist the insect buffet that's appeared at the waterside. The pied stilt scours the surface of the water for insects that skate, hover, or fly. It uses its long legs to stride a little way out into the water. But it hasn't got the reach of the jacana. Nicknamed the lily trotter, it uses the lily pads as stepping stones to penetrate further into the heart of the waterhole and find different insects. The jacana is also called the Jesus bird because it looks as though it's walking on water. Its enormous feet distribute its weight over the lily pad.